First of all, you may be wondering why we're here, and it's a good question, and why we're doing this event, and why we're so passionate about what we do, and what's this whole first-time leader thing. You've probably got a heap of questions that you might have on your mind. So part of why we're doing this is that about 13 years ago, my desk looked like that. And I was in this room, and I was in my first leadership/management gig, and I was the sales manager, and I'd been in sales for about 6 weeks, and I got promoted, not because I was any good, because I was the only sales guy in the room. I got promoted to the sales manager, and we hired all these people, and all of a sudden, I found myself kind of having to run a team. And I remember when I was there that it was initially kind of cool, because I got like, oh, I'm a sales manager, kind of a big deal. And then I was like, what do I actually have to do? And one of the biggest challenges about when you're early on in your career is that there actually isn't much support. And we're going to go on to talk about some of the challenges you face as a first-time leader. And arguably, it's the hardest role in the company, period. And we'll go on to why that is, but a big part of that is you don't have any support, and you've got the least experience, and you literally have no idea what you're doing, okay? And most of the time, you've been told that if you just kind of do what you did before, you'll now be kind of good and better in this role, okay? My desk looked like that, and what I used to do on a regular basis is actually sleep underneath it. I used to work so hard because I was trying to overcompensate for lack of skill, okay? And so in sales, if you've ever done that role, it's kind of like you follow up with clients, and somehow I managed to get all my quotes. It would take me until 11, maybe 12, 1 o'clock in the morning, and I'm so tired I'm sleeping underneath the desk. And I thought my boss is going to be super impressed because I'm working so hard. I'm working hard, right? The results, though, weren't actually starting to show. And I still remember, I remember going to my boss. He was called Nick. And I said, Nick, and this is kind of after a while, I was like, Nick, I'm actually drowning here, like I'm really drowning, and I don't even know what I'm doing. And he was like, okay. And I was like, Nick will know the answer, secretly. And he was like, I don't know either. And I'm like, far out. So when Nick said, what if I get you a coach? And so anyway, he made some phone calls, and he hooked me up with this guy called Frank. And I had my first conversation with Frank, sat at this desk, and I remember almost crying because all of a sudden I felt like I was heard and acknowledged. And he started to share with me, it's okay. Because the step actually is huge. When you go from non-leader into leadership, what you've then gone, it's not a linear progression, as we often think about. If you go from, in my world, it was sales to kind of, a good sales guy into management. The skills are completely different. And so uplift, essentially, is about helping people who may be in that position right now. The reason it's free, or almost free for most of you, is that we know you probably don't have the resources or companies willing to support this level. And it's this really bizarre thing that even though it's one of the hardest jobs in the company, you actually get the least amount of support.